Hey there, it's Greggy. So today, I'm going to show you how to perfectly frost a cake with buttercream. I'm going to show you how to get smooth sides and sharp edges with buttercream so that it can be prepared for fondant to be put on top of it, or you could just leave it on its own and have a beautiful coat of buttercream on your cake.
In a world where one Greggy will teach other people how to properly fill a cake, do a crumb coat, and do a smooth finish with buttercream.
Right here are the tools you need to frost a cake. If I were you, I'd pause the video right now, take a snapshot, and run right to the store stat to get a mini offset spatula, a large offset spatula, a rubber spatula, and a metal bench scraper. First, you're going to need a semi-damp washcloth. You could use paper towels, but I love the earth. You're also going to need mini offset spatulas. I like to have more than one, just like scissors. I like to have them on hand anywhere I go. A rubber spatula, a large metal spatula, and one of the most essential items is a bench scraper with straight edges, and this is going to give you smooth sides and straight edges onto your cake. You could also use this big ol' honker, a spackle knife from your local hardware store, or a piece of cardstock, as long as it has perfectly straight edges. Oh, and one more thing, you need a Lazy Susan to spin her right round, baby, right round. So sweet, I can't forget, so good, boy, you make me sweat. Boy, I'm talking about Swiss buttercream. Alright guys, I'm gonna stop dilly-dallying around and start teaching you how to do this ish up in here. Alright guys, so I already did the first layer, and now I'm doing the second layer, and I am creating a border with the buttercream. What I'm doing is creating a wall so that our filling doesn't seep out when you put a bunch of layers on top of it. You could pipe around it with a plain round tip, or you can do it just like this, so you don't have to take out a piping bag and take out a coupler and wash more dishes, and so just scrape with your mini offset spatula off your rubber spatula and create a wall. Underneath all of this buttercream, every time I put a new layer of cake on, I like to spray it with simple syrup or drizzle it with a flavored simple syrup or espresso so that it stays nice and moist. At this stage, it's totally okay for the buttercream to fall on the sides because you want to create that lip and have something protruding outside, so when we put the sides together, there's enough buttercream to go all around. Now it's ready for the filling to go in. I'm starting with a generous amount of filling in the center. What I'm using is a whipped ganache. I like to go with more stable fillings. If it's a lemon curd, a pudding, or a super soft filling, I like to skimp on it a little bit just so that it doesn't seep out. You want to be really careful with that. So the more stable your filling is, the more stable your cake is. Then you just put your next layer on and repeat the process. Throughout every single step of the process, you always want to make sure that everything is level. Give it a pat, give it a nudge, give it a zhuzh. Now we're ready for our crumb coat. I'm starting with a generous amount of buttercream in the center of the cake. I like to have a fresh bowl of buttercream and a dirty bowl of buttercream. Every time you swipe off crumbs with the buttercream onto your spatula, that only goes into your dirty bowl of buttercream. Fresh stays with the fresh, and dirty stays with the dirty. Pop. Pop, pop. Now I have my large metal spatula and letting the turntable do its work. I always have my spatula on a slight angle as I turn and allowing the buttercream to move right to the edge. It's very imperative that you have an overhang on the outside ledge, so don't be afraid to let the buttercream roll over the edges of the cake. Now you want to spread buttercream on the sides of your cake, and you want to lock in all of those crumbs. Don't forget to use that damp washcloth to clean off your spatula. Now you get your bench scraper and have it on a slight angle as you turn the cake. You want the sides to rise up over the top edge. Do you see that ledge that is forming on the sides of the cake? It's starting to rise on the edges of the cake, that's a good thing. At this point, you get your bench scraper or offset spatula to create that sharp edge. This part may seem a little scary because you don't want to screw it up, but it's okay, it's just cake, so don't be scared. All you have to do is get your bench scraper and swipe across right to the center of your cake with little to no pressure. After you're done with that, set it into the fridge to chill and firm up a little bit, and you've completed your crumb coat. Now that the cake is firm and chilled, you want to make sure that your space is super clean and start the process all over again. This time you have to be a little bit more neat and make sure you fix all of your imperfections. Don't be afraid to put it back into the fridge if it needs to be cooled. And don't forget to make that ledge come right up from the sides again. Swipe, swipe, swipe that ledge that I taught you earlier. And there you have it, a frosted cake with buttercream. You could keep working on it for as long as you want to get it as perfect as you can. I'm going to put a layer of fondant on top of it, so as long as your layers are nice and clean and your edges are sharp, you're good to go. Click on the cute little bumblebee to subscribe, click on the video to view my last episode on the right, and visit my website at www.greggysoriano.com. Oh, and follow me on social media in the description links down below. Thanks!